なんでお前がここにいる？
ああ、なんでって。ああ、そういう意味ね。五条悟は俺が殺した。
Okay, let me get him, baby, ain't sparing shit. Everybody gotta get it. Every motherfucking car nigga riding in his tenant. They ain't heard nothing from the Carolinas in a minute. Get on need a ride until she finish. I get them niggas 10, 20,000, make a spin. Or pull a pistol out, make you holler if you hear me. Two pretty bitches looking out the window say,
First off, I'm going to start this video off by thanking all of you showed love in my the first Descendant video. I know 1k views isn't a lot to most YouTubers, but as a YouTuber that just started out and figuring things out as I go, seeing that I was able to hit 1k views within my first 5 uploads really made me feel a type of way that I've never felt before. Really, I deeply appreciate every single one of you that let me know your opinions in the comments of that video. I didn't think people would care, but you guys proved me wrong apparently. And shout out to this guy, I appreciate your loyalty and consistency when it comes to actually watching my videos. I do really appreciate it. I'm sorry I couldn't pronounce your name, I just don't want to mess it up. I think I'm going to start shouting out new subscribers with each video, so congrats, you are the first of hopefully hundreds of thousands if not millions to come. Okay, now with that out of the way, again, my deepest appreciation to each and every single one of you. Yeah, so I've been busy. I mean, incredibly busy. I have a whole roster of videos planned for the future of this channel, but also made no progress towards them whatsoever because, well... And to be honest, none of this would have been possible if it wasn't for Bunny, or should I say, Ultimate Bunny. So that's why I've decided to dedicate this whole video to her. If you watched the previous TFD video I released a while ago, you'd remember me saying this. Usually to obtain an amorphous material it's about 20%. To obtain a regular Descendant part from an amorphous material, it's usually about 38% for most Descendant parts, depending on which amorphous material you're opening. Regardless of what the game statistics say, you have a much higher chance of getting the rarer materials in the loot pool than getting that one item you so badly need. It's like the game knows what you're looking for, but gives you everything except the one thing you need. Yeah, I still 100% stand by that claim. So we already know that you need 4 components to craft Descendants and weapons, and I want to believe I was just extremely lucky when I got the first 3 Ultimate Bunny parts first try. Because when I got the last part,
biggest hater, I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk, I hate the way that you dress.
This one component right here took 2 days of my life. 2 days I'm never getting back. 2 days of clearing vulgar strategic outposts, running defense missions to attain stabilizers, and getting my ass beat by this thing. And my internet wasn't making things any better. So I have a roadmap I'm trying to follow for the sake of content. It's a known fact that Ines Raya is a must-have Descendant and she makes farming incredibly easy. That's and I needed an easy way to quickly get Ultimate Glade because I may have said some hurtful things about her in my last video and lots of you didn't like what I had to say. So if you are one of those people, stay tuned for the Glade apology video I'll be making very soon. But that's besides the point. So I needed Ines Raya to make farming easy, but to get her I will need a Descendant that clears the Void Vessel on hard mode very quickly and easily. And apparently the first Descendant community seems to agree that Bunny is the best for this mission. So I did a bit of digging around and found out that most people use Ultimate Bunny. Now I don't quite know the buffs Ultimate Bunny has compared to her base variant, but... cheeks. So the plan was simple: unlock Ultimate Bunny to get Ines Raya, unlock Ines Raya to get Ultimate Freyna and Hailey, and finally unlock Ultimate Freyna to get Ultimate Glade. But at the time I didn't know that Ultimate Bunny was all I needed to unlock everyone else after I built her from mobbing. Anyways, I set out to get all the Ultimate Bunny components using Freyna, who was my highest DPS at the time. I got the Spiral Catalyst first try. Actually, I got the Spiral Catalyst from the very first amorphous material I opened in the game. Maybe that's just how the game is programmed, I don't know. Then I got the Enhanced Cells and the Stabilizer later on, but first try as well. And then we got to the code. At this point, it just felt like I was playing a gacha game, you know? Those games where you do all these missions and get a unique currency that allows you to pull for certain characters, but you also have a very slim chance of actually getting these characters. In most cases, you'd have to pull at least 90 times before you get the hard pity, which guarantees you a 100% chance of getting an S-rank item, but it also is a 50-50 because you could either get the banner you're pulling for or get another S-rank item in the game. That is literally exactly what grinding for Ultimate Bunny code felt like. Between running the outpost for a 25% chance of getting the amorphous materials and running defense missions for another 25% chance of getting the stabilizers and finally activating the Void Fusion Reactor for a 6 to 10% chance of getting the Ultimate Bunny code. I might have slightly lost my mind. Remember when I said this? Regardless of what the game statistics say, you have a much higher chance of getting the rarer materials in the loot pool than getting that one item you so badly need. It's like the game knows what you're looking for, but gives you everything except the one thing you need. Again, I 100% stand by that claim. Let's put it into perspective. Aside from Ultimate Bunny, you can also get a cow component from the same amorphous material. It's a 10% chance though, but after I pulled over 40 times without a stabilizer, I had gotten the cow components at least 15 times. Now remember that statistic because when I realized I actually had a higher chance of getting the Ultimate Bunny code if I apply a stabilizer to increase my chances from 6 to 10%, that's when I decided to take my time to farm up 20 amorphous materials from the outpost and then spend double the time farming the stabilizers from a defense mission. Oh yeah, that reminds me, the outpost has a small chance of granting you a stabilizer after you've cleared it. I think it's about 1.5% if I'm not wrong. So tell me why the game thinks it's fair to grant me the stabilizers 6 times within 10 minutes, but not a 6% item once after almost 2 days of non-stop grinding. So after gathering the needed items and going to get my ass beat again for like the 87th time that day, I was more confident because remember, the cow component was dropping quite a lot for an item that has only a 10% chance of dropping. I now had the stabilizers to increase the Ultimate Bunny code acquisition chance from 6% to 10%. Surely if my math was correct, I was supposed to be granted at least 2 Ultimate Bunny codes after opening all 20 amorphous materials with the stabilizers, right? Not once did the code drop. Obviously completely frustrated and burnt out, I called it a day here and finally went to touch some grass at 4 AM. Day 2 of the grind, I wasn't very hopeful for the day ahead of me. I was trying to justify every possible reason that the game wouldn't let me have the code while trying to motivate myself to continue the grind. Eventually I decided to become delusional for a couple of hours and settled for the excuse that the game probably only wants the rare materials to be acquired after probably 150 attempts. You know, like a gacha game, but only more depressing. So I set out again to repeat the grind. The 20 amorphous materials weren't even a problem anymore. The outpost was getting easier to clear out and I was doing each outpost run in about 10 seconds or slightly more. Keep in mind, I was using a half-baked frame now to do the grind, so I definitely wasn't aiming to be time efficient. Eventually, I got the last amorphous material and went on to the defense mission, which, no joke, quite literally took me 4 hours to get all the 20 stabilizers I needed. But I didn't waste the runs though. I made sure to max out my Thunder Cage, which seems to be Bunny's signature weapon. I went from dealing 150,000 DPS to just under 700,000 DPS after applying the modules and upgrades needed, and the kills from the defense missions were counting entirely towards the Thunder Cage because my Freyna was maxed out and I wasn't carrying any other weapons. After finally getting the last stabilizer needed, I went on to grab enough void shards that would be enough to open the amorphous materials to save myself the stress of going back and forth. Anyways, almost like the game was teasing me heavily, I got the cow components literally 5 times in a row. I brushed it off because now his chances of being acquired was raised to 15% thanks to the stabilizers, but after that, just nothing but pain and depression for 3 hours straight. No, it didn't take me 3 hours to open the remaining 15 amorphous materials, it took me 3 hours to get my internet to behave so I would actually beat this thing again to open the next amorphous material. Nothing but straight disappointment for the next 14 pulls. Then I got to the final pull. I already lost hope. I was already telling myself I'm just gonna go and farm maybe 3 more amorphous materials from the outpost. If I don't get the bunny parts, I may just give up and go back to Warframe. And then I was caught off guard. It was almost like the game wanted me to suffer to get the code because once I got it, everything else became easier. I'm not even joking. And no, I'm not saying I crafted up my Ultimate Bunny and cleared missions much faster. I mean literally, everything became easier. I was about to log off the game for the day after having a 30-minute staring contest with the lovely Ines. Just having it in mind that my Ultimate Bunny components were finally cooking up, I suddenly felt discouraged to just try my luck with Ultimate Clay. I don't know why I thought of her specifically, most especially since she was the final piece of my plan. I just checked if I had any amorphous materials that had any ultimate glade components, and sure enough, I had about 2 just waiting. So I went into their respective missions one by one, and in fact, Glade wasn't where my luck ended, because I went on to have the craziest generational run over the course of the last week and a half. At this point, I had acquired every Descendant I needed. Maybe I might have overlooked Ultimate Viesa and Ultimate Sharon, but my lineup was finally complete as far as I was concerned. And it took me until I acquired the Ultimate Valby code to realize that the numbers mean nothing. These percentages, you'll be much better off without them. If an item is rare to acquire, it should just be stated there rather than giving the player a false sense of hope or despair after seeing these numbers. I say this because while it took me 2 days to get the Ultimate Bunny code at an increased probability of 10%, I half-assed my entire Ultimate Valby farming process and got all 4 parts within a day. Literally, the Ultimate Valby code that just so happened to have a 6% acquisition chance. Without any stabilizers, there would be no point to even bother trying to get her. But I did it anyways, and 7 amorphous materials later, I got the code. In fact, put that aside for now. You know the energy activator. In order to have it, you need to either get it from event rewards or craft it by yourself, of which the energy activator blueprint is rather rare to come by. So tell me why. When opening amorphous materials for the Ultimate Valby parts that has about a 38% chance of acquisition, literally one of the 2 most likely items to acquire, I got the energy activator blueprint not once, not twice, but 4 times in a row. Literally a 6% chance of getting this item, and I just grabbed 4 in a row like it was nothing. But that's all besides the point. The bottom line is that I finally crafted my Ultimate Bunny and wasted no time investing in her. I mean, just about a day later, I was already clearing out the Void Vessel in 10 minutes. Keep in mind, I was spending upwards to 20 minutes using my base Freyna and never cleared the vessel once. Then I unlocked Ultimate Bunny and was just playing around with the Void Vessel, not only to get Ines Raya's components, but also to level up my Bunny quickly, so I could reset her levels and increase her mod capacity. I'll link down below the tutorial I used to build my Ultimate Bunny. That being said, I was a bit conflicted at a point, torn between using MP consumption or building around the Bionic Fuel module. So I tested out the Bionic Fuel build I was playing around with and found myself dying quite a bit. No surprise there. So I just stuck with a max MP build and started testing the waters with this Snow Bunny. This bionic white girl that runs fast. Wait, is she Caucasian or Korean? So I finally decided to take on the Hanged Man, which was honestly disappointing. He went down way too quick and I was expecting more of a challenge low-key. Then I finally got access to the hard mode Colossus, and let me tell you, I definitely didn't think my Ultimate Bunny could handle those. I was wrong. She ate through them all, granted in about 2.5 minutes on average, but they all perished nevertheless. Currently though, my biggest issue is this motherfucker. I keep getting close to killing him, then he pulls this bitch move 3 times in a row. I know I can kill him more easily if I decide to be more tactical about my approach, but I'd honestly rather focus my energy on building Ines Raya and Ultimate Glade to take on these Colossi much faster. So that's what I did. Now from here for the rest of the video, the focus will be a lot less about Ultimate Bunny and more just about my experience and plans for upgrading my new Descendants. First and foremost, peep my Omni-Ines design. Yes, I'm sticking with it. If Omni Invincible or Omni Mark gets a pass, so does Omni-Ines. And quick question, why is her so visible? Are you telling me she runs all these missions commando? If so, then I want to believe she either has the world's tiniest nipples or they're just non-existent. Anyways, I've spent the last couple of days building Ines Raya. I'm trying to achieve 2 distinct builds with her, one for mobbing and one for Colossi. So far, I'm not quite understanding the appeal for this Descendant. Don't get me wrong, she's great for clearing missions quickly, and maybe it's just because I haven't built her up completely, but I'd honestly prefer my Ultimate Bunny for now. I mean, I've done multiple 400% dungeons and cleared them rather quickly using Bunny. But if I decide to use Ines Raya for the same dungeon, maybe I'll finish it, but it won't be as fast as Bunny would have finished it. I guess I'm just more of a fast-paced player. But wait, before you go ahead and start typing in the comments about how I keep giving these extremely inaccurate takes about the best Descendants in the game, I did mention I haven't fully built up Ines Raya yet. There's still a couple of models here and there that I haven't maxed out, and they are crucial for our ability to do the needed damage, so please bear with me for just a bit. Let me max her out so I can finally understand the appeal. So far though, I'm loving her. I'm still trying to figure out which mission is the best to level her up quickly. For Bunny, I'd usually just run a Kuiper Mine Blockade and get a bunch of levels for just running in circles. but it's just not the same for Ines Raya. There's usually specific missions for every Descendant for them to actually shine, right? For example, for Freyna, I always ran defense missions to level her up. I just stood in one spot and kept throwing acid on the floor in front of the facility, and that would usually work until at least the 8th wave before I eventually had to start shooting the enemies. I'd say it's almost the same case for Valby, but Ines just seems different. If you haven't applied the necessary mods to drastically decrease skill cooldown and increase the duration, you can't constantly spam your third ability, which does the best AoE damage compared to the rest of her abilities. You also can't constantly spam the first ability if you don't have an efficient way to maintain your MP, and you need to spam the first ability if you want to be able to use the third ability. I found some workarounds though for these problems, but my primary issue hasn't been fixed yet. I need a mission where her abilities excel so I can level her up quickly. So please, if you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments and I'll look it up if I haven't already maxed out my Ines. That being said, if you also have any suggestions for how to quickly level up Glay and Hailey, please drop that in the comments as well. I love interacting with my viewers and relating with them when it comes to the game. On a completely unrelated note, Serena. Chances are I probably already have fully grinded her out before this video gets released, but somebody said something about her and I can't seem to get it out of my head. Serena looks really good. I mean, obviously Mercy ripoff aside, she just looks absolutely stunning. But you know what else looks stunning? Those things hanging off her chest. I mean, that's oddly suspicious because she looks rather similar to a specific C-list actress who just so happens to have a phenomenal chest. Shots fired at Sydney Sweeney perhaps. Probably not, but I will probably believe you if you told me that she was the face model for Serena. Actually, I just realized something. Warframe is releasing a new update soon and they're introducing 4 new proto frames, one of which the whole community swears is David Bowie. So while the first Descendant releases an actress, Warframe releases an artist. What's the time to be alive, am I right? Although I won't really have the opportunity to check out the new proto frames on Warframe because I simply don't have enough space open in my schedule for a Warframe video. That being said, I'll have to ask Phoenix to help me out in terms of being up to date with the Warframe lore. Oh, and one more thing, actually this has been haunting me since I finally unlocked my ultimate bunny. So around the time I first claimed the first Descendant on my Steam account, it was around December of 2024. If I decided to simply download the game and log in for the first time back then, I would have gotten a free ultimate bunny and saved myself the stress of whatever the fuck was up on my mental health for those 2 days that I was grinding the bunny code. But I honestly don't mind missing out on that because if I did start the first Descendants back then, I wouldn't have been able to use it to make content for you guys now. But then again, the new season just came out, and so did a new set of daily login rewards. And guess what's a part of the rewards?